He leaned forward when he saw her, not surprised, just attentive. Her smile carried a quiet confidence, as if she already understood how this moment would unfold. And I felt it too. This time I wasn't just observing from the sidelines. I was part of the story. She stepped closer, calm and certain. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Before I share what changed when she sat down, tap like and hit subscribe. This story only deepens from here, and you won't want to miss what's next. His hand grazed my arm lightly as I stood by the sink, washing dishes. It wasn't hurried or intense, just a gentle reminder of his presence behind me, steady and thoughtful. I didn't turn away. The water flowed over my hands, the dishes forgotten for a moment. The morning light filtered through the window, and I felt the quiet warmth of the moment settle around us. He stepped closer, not crowding, just near, his presence like a soft note in the air. I turned my head slightly, catching his reflection in the glass. "You're up early," I said. "So are you," he replied, his voice low, still softened by sleep, carrying the calm of the night before. There was no rush in his tone, just a quiet connection. But something else lingered beneath it. A subtle spark, not urgent, just present. I dried my hands and faced him. He was close, his eyes meeting mine with a steady curiosity. "I've been thinking," I said. He tilted his head, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "That's bold," I laughed softly. "Maybe, but not as bold as that idea you shared once. The one you weren't sure I'd consider." His expression didn't shift, but his eyes held mine a little longer. "I wasn't sure you were serious," I continued, stepping closer. "But I think you were." He didn't respond right away. "I made a call," I said quietly. "She's coming tonight." The silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was alive with possibility, like the moment before a new chapter begins. "She," he echoed. I nodded. "The one you mentioned. The one you didn't expect me to invite." I let the word settle, not teasing, just honest. His hands rested lightly at his sides, but his gaze stayed steady. "Tonight," he said, more a statement than a question. "Only if you're okay with it," I replied. "But I think we both know you are." I stepped past him, my footsteps soft on the tile floor. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. His steps followed me quietly as I moved toward the bedroom. Slow, deliberate, like he was giving the moment space to breathe. The door clicked shut behind us. He stood in the doorway, his posture relaxed but attentive, his eyes still on mine. "She knows what tonight means," I said, sitting on the edge of the bed. "And what it doesn't." He didn't speak, but something in his expression softened, like he was processing more than he let on. "She's here because I invited her," I added. "That's what you wanted, right? To see if I'd follow through." I saw it then, a subtle shift in his posture, a deeper breath. He didn't answer, but he didn't need to. I stood and walked toward him, slow and steady, holding his gaze. When I reached him, I leaned against the doorframe, close enough for my words to carry softly. "She said she's wearing red," I said. "The color you once said reminded you of me." He turned his head slightly, the space between us shrinking but not closing. Just still, I lingered there, watching the quiet recognition in his eyes. "She'll be here soon," I said. "You can stay, listen, or step away. It's your choice." I guided him gently toward the armchair by the window. "If you stay," I added, pausing as he sat, "you let the moment unfold as it will." He settled into the chair, not out of obligation, but as if the decision was already made. I stood nearby, feeling the quiet weight of the moment. His hands rested on the chair's arms, steady but alert. His breathing was calm but deliberate, and I knew he was choosing to be present, letting me lead. I moved toward the mirror, adjusting my scarf, catching my own reflection. I didn't need to look at him to know he was watching, his focus steady and quiet. Then a soft knock at the door. I turned just enough to gauge his reaction. His jaw tightened slightly, but he didn't move. I opened the door. She stepped inside, poised and confident, her red dress catching the light. Her eyes met mine, calm and clear, no words needed. She didn't hesitate, moving into the room like she already belonged there. Her presence was steady, not bold or shy, just certain. She stopped close to me, close enough for me to feel the warmth of her confidence. I noticed her calm first, unwavering, like she knew exactly why she was here. She tilted her head slightly, her gaze soft but direct. I let the moment linger, unspoken but full. Then I reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her shoulder. A simple gesture, not rushed, just present. The silence between us felt like a shared understanding. The room held still, not frozen, but calm, as if none of us wanted to break the moment. I leaned forward slightly, my shoulder brushing hers. Not a dramatic gesture, just a quiet connection. She stayed there, meeting the moment with the same steadiness. I didn't glance back at him, but I felt his presence, like a steady hum in the background. The air felt charged, not with tension, but with trust. When the door closed behind us, her hand found mine, warm and sure. She rested her fingers lightly on my arm, a gesture that felt like an acknowledgement, not a demand. We stood close, our breathing steady, synchronized without effort. There was no rush, no hesitation, just a shared rhythm. When I looked at her, our eyes locked, and the moment felt complete, like a conversation without words. I felt grounded, fully present. Behind me, his presence remained, quiet but constant, like an anchor in the room. I didn't turn to him. I didn't need to. This moment was its own. She stepped closer, her hand resting lightly on my shoulder. The fabric of her dress shifted softly as she moved, and I felt the warmth of her presence. I reached out, my fingers grazing the edge of her sleeve, a small gesture that felt like trust. We moved toward the bed, not with purpose, but with ease, sitting side by side. Her smile was soft, genuine, not teasing or shy. She reached out, her hand resting on mine, a reminder of her presence. I leaned closer, our shoulders touching, the moment quiet but full. Our breaths aligned, steady and unhurried. The room felt alive, not with movement, but with connection. Her touch was gentle, tracing the edge of my hand, not seeking anything, just being. My fingers rested lightly on her arm, mirroring her calm. Everything slowed, not out of caution, but because this was enough. I felt every moment, her steady breath, the warmth of her nearness, the quiet trust between us. I reached for the edge of the blanket beside us, holding it for grounding, not balance. My body felt awake, tuned to the moment in a way that felt new yet familiar. When we spoke, it was soft, almost a whisper. "This feels right," she said, her voice steady. I nodded, my hand still on hers. The moment wasn't about urgency. It was about being seen, understood. I glanced at him briefly. He hadn't moved, but his expression had softened, his hands no longer gripping the chair. His eyes met mine for a moment, and I saw something new. Trust, not tension. I turned back to her, the room narrowing to the space between us. Her hand rested on mine, steady and warm. My heart settled, not racing, just present. The moment didn't need words. It was ours, shared and certain. And then, something shifted. The evening didn't end with silence. It opened into something more. We began to talk, the three of us. Not about the moment, but about life. She shared stories of her travels, a time she got lost in a coastal town and found a hidden cafe that changed her perspective. He spoke about a project he'd been working on, the kind that kept him up at night but made him feel alive. I opened up about a dream I'd been hesitant to chase, a creative idea that felt too big but too important to ignore. The conversation flowed, effortless and real, punctuated by laughter that broke any lingering tension. We laughed about small things. Her story of a suitcase mishap in an airport, his recounting of a disastrous attempt at cooking years ago. By the time the clock struck midnight, the room felt different, lighter. We weren't just three people who'd taken a chance. We were friends, connected by a shared moment that had grown into something deeper. The night wasn't about what we'd expected, it was about what we'd discovered together. The next morning, we sat around the kitchen table, coffee mugs in hand. The air was easy, no awkwardness, just a quiet understanding. He looked at me with a warmth I hadn't seen before, like he'd glimpsed a new side of me. She hugged us both before leaving, her smile warm as she promised to keep in touch. As the door closed, he turned to me. "That was more than I imagined," he said. I smiled. For all of us, this story is about trust, about taking a chance on connection and finding something real. What do you think? Have you ever had a moment that surprised you like this? Share in the comments. I'll be reading. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. In the next video, we'll explore more stories about stepping into the unknown and finding connection where you least expect it. Thanks for being here.